Chapter 1 The Theophany. I was born in the Ohio in 1984. I didn't have the easiest upbringing, and most of my life was spent being poor with physical, mental, and emotional abuse by different individuals, which lasted throughout most of my life. Still, this biography is not about my physical life. Many had it worse than I did. This biography is about my journey through life in my search for God and truth. I was a typical kid going about my life, school, and friends. Life didn't begin to change or have any meaning until I was 7 or 8 years old. I was raised having never attended church that I know of or can remember. We were not taught about Jesus or God. I didn't even know who Jesus was. I was raised in a strict household. I wasn't allowed to go to friends' houses, not even to the next door neighbors. I wasn't allowed outside often or to have friends over to our apartment. One night when I was 7 or 8 years old, I was lying on my bed. I remember looking at the nightlight from the living room shining under my bedroom door. Suddenly a feeling came over me. It felt like the air had weight to it, the weight of a presence all around me. I began to cry, then I began to weep. I had to put my face in the pillow, fearing I would get in trouble for making noise. I started to feel like a woman in travail. Then I said something peculiar. I began repeating, "God, if that is you, I want to know you." The next day, something had changed. I had begun to question things. How did we get here? Why are we alive? What was the point? Naturally, I would begin to question things, since I had an experience bigger than my little world of Eureka's castle and peanut butter and jelly mixed in a cup. Before my God experience, it was like I was the world looking out at everything around me. After my God experience, it was like I was small and something bigger was watching me. My stepfather only listened to country music. I didn't know other music existed. One day I was watching country music videos, and a song by Alabama came out called "I'm in a Hurry and Don't Know Why." I remember looking at my parents and wondering why they were doing what they did. Why my stepfather worked, why he went hunting, and why everything was just about life as if no one would ever die. I thought no matter what anyone did, they would all die anyway. Suddenly, the world seemed crowded. There were so many cars whizzing by, so many people in the grocery store, so many friends at school talking about nothing all at once. I was beginning to think about things in a whole new light. One significant memory I have was thinking about existence. To a child, how far was space? Could it go on forever? Lying in bed, I asked myself, what if nothing existed? Would it be black? I thought it couldn't be black. It must be clear. Then I asked, what if I were the only thing that existed? What would I see? I concluded that my eyes would have to look through all creation because I was all that existed. I would have to see the back of my head, and I thought it must look like it was at my grandma's house when you opened the 3 mirrors in the bathroom simultaneously and saw yourself repeating to infinity. That experience changed my whole life, but it didn't last long. I was never allowed to go anywhere, and within a couple of weeks of my God experience, a little girl, maybe she knew me from school. She was a year or 2 older than me. She probably lived in my neighborhood. One day she knocked on my door, and my mother called me to the door to talk to her. The girl asked my mom if I could go to church with her. I thought for sure Mom would say no. She had me talk to the girl, and the girl asked if I had ever been saved. I said, "Do you mean, did I fall out of a tree and someone catch me?" I tried to continue the story to look cool, like, "Yeah, my uncle has caught me before." She said, "No. I mean, have you been saved by Jesus?" I didn't know who that was, but my mom seemed not just happy to let me go with the girl, but excited to let me go. So I went to church with her. We went to Sunday school. They taught us about Jesus. We cut out construction paper crosses and had Kool-Aid and donuts. We were taught about the Bible. I thought, oh, that is that book above the television that no one ever reads. Late one night, I snuck out of my room to read the Bible. Me being a child, I started at the end of the book. I read about a chapter in Revelation. It was about dragons and monsters from the sea and death. I put the book down and thought, that was weird. Why did all those church members read that? I went to sleep and mostly forgot about my whole God experience. I must have gotten closure, being told that some guy who died on a cross for me was my God, and that I should read this strange book of death and dragons that don't exist. My mind returned to being and thinking as a child, without a care in the world. After all, I would never figure out who God was with strange stories like that, nor did I want to. Life went on. Home life got worse. I started to switch schools often, sometimes living with my grandmother and other times with my stepdad. I was doing the same curriculum at both schools. I got bored with school and went from the honor roll to all failing grades. My grandmother's house was full of people, cousins, uncles, friends. We played video games, stayed up later, and had a large yard with much to get into. Then it was back to my stepdad's. No video games, rarely allowed to play outside, no friends, and going to sleep while it was still light out. I was back and forth for a couple of years until my stepdad died when I was 10 years old. After that, I mostly lived with my grandmother until I was 17. Life was much more fun at my grandmother's house, but we were very poor. It taught us a whole different way of life. Chopping wood, playing outside from morning until night, being allowed to run in and out of the house as we pleased, mowing grass, always working on the house. Learning how to do many different trades and things, having friends over all the time, sometimes for weeks at a time, going to their houses for weeks at a time, trampolines, basketball hoops, sports. It was a completely different world. We were so poor, during winter we would hang blankets over the doorways and all sleep in the den where the fireplace was. We lived on soup beans, cornbread, and leftovers for breakfast, which I liked better than having cereal every morning. In the summer there was no air conditioning. In the winter we rarely had money for gas for the furnace. I enjoyed that way of life much better than the apartment. We didn't feel poor until friends went to fast food places, and we had to say we had never been. My best friend's mother felt sorry for me, and every summer they took me with them to either Cedar Point or Kings Island. It was all just fun. Being a kid was fun, but my world was about to change again.